beautiful truth seekers. Welcome or welcome back to Truth in Life Tarot. So in this reading, we are going to be going over why do you feel this way? So if there is a particular situation or just anything where you don't know why you feel this way, then this is the reading for you. So for pile 1, we have the Weaver Tarot with the Apache Tear Crystal. For pile 2, we have the Tarot of the Magical Forest with the Goldstone Pendulum. For pile 3, we have the Crystal Power Tarot and the Tiger's Eye Crystal. And for pile 4, we have the Everyday Tarot with this Black Obsidian Point. So the timestamps for the piles, including the pre-shuffle, is going to be down below, and I will see you guys at your pile. Bye. Hello and welcome to the pre-shuffle. We are going to start out with the Archetype Cards. I love this deck. I haven't used it on this channel in a long time, but I thought this was the perfect reading for it. So for pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Okay. So next up is the Wisdom of the Oracle. Pile 1. I'm gonna reposition. Okay. Gotta get my setup straight. Okay, so you guys got 2. 1 fell over here. Okay. Pile 2. Let's see, pile 3. And pile 4. Let's see if we can get 1 or 2 more. Okay. All right. So next up we have the Egyptian Gods Oracle. I am going to take the one. You know what? I'm gonna redo that one. Pile 1. Pile 2. Pile 3. And pile 4. That one really wanted to come out. And it went right on top of pile 3 too. Alright, so that concludes the pre-shuffle, and I will see you guys at your pile. Bye. Hi pile 1. If you chose the Weaver Tarot and the Apache Tear Crystal, then this is your reading. So, why do you feel this way, pile 1? I'm already getting that some of you may feel a bit uneasy. Let's see. Okay, so we have the 7 of Pentacles, the 8 of Cups, so some of you could be like antsy because something has to change. Could be a bit of impatience here as well. You have the Lovers. Okay. So for some of you, this is involving like an either or kind of choice. Definitely a relationship for some of you. So you also have the 7 of Wands and the 2 of Wands. And you have the Magician in reverse, and for the back of the deck energy, you have the Seeker, which is the Page of Coins, Page of Pentacles. Alright, let's get this all within the shot. I'm gonna move this over a bit. It's gonna drive me crazy. Okay. That is just about good enough. So, pile 1. So there's definitely, with the Lovers and the 2 of Wands, I feel like there is definitely a kind of either or type of energy. So like one choice will cancel out the option of the other choice type of situation going on. You may feel powerless with this Magician in reverse here. I feel like the reason you feel this way is because there's just like there's to a certain extent there's like nothing that you can do. It's like the kind of thing where you just have to like kind of see things for how they are, or accept things for how they are. Not that you should accept like a situation you don't want to be in or stay in a situation you don't want to be in. It's just that with the 8 of Cups here, I feel like you know that that something needs to change or shift, but you may not be able to make that shift. And so like you could be in this defensive energy with the 7 of Wands. But I feel like there's like, because the back of the deck energy is the Page of Pentacles. So I feel like there's this hope here, because I feel like you guys are seeing the situation and you're you're very much aware of the things that could change, but you're also very much aware of the things that you have no control over, and you kind of just have to let go. Like I just heard let go and let God. Some of you could have been waiting for this for a while, or maybe you just like felt it coming for a while, like this situation. So there's a feeling of like powerlessness and like a trapped energy here. And it's because there's like just not enough for you to do. There's only but so much you can do. That's what I just heard. There's only but so much you can do. Hmm. I feel like, so for some of you there is a option to like leave the situation. Like there's an option to not engage the way you were or are anymore. And you're just not sure how that would work. It's kind of like there's like this kind of like standstill energy almost. Especially like when I keep looking at this Two of Wands, because with the Two of Wands, normally it's depicted as someone who's looking through, like there's one wand on either side of them, and they're standing between the wands, and they also have like a small globe in their hand. So like they're looking at the globe, but also beyond the globe. So it's like you can see like the things that are going on now, but you can also see beyond that. But the reason it could be like a standstill is because you might also be able to see that there's not a whole lot that you can do in this situation. So it's understandable that you feel a bit stuck, or that you feel like there's not a whole lot that you can do. Not that you can't do anything, it's just that you can't do as much as you would like. Let's see what your oracle cards have to add. You have child magical, light attributes, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Yes, that's what I was getting with this Page of Pentacles. Like you guys can see, because the pages are like very youthful energy. They are very like kind of novice, like neophyte type energy, where it's like the maturity that a knight would have to have, or even like the kind of adult tasks that a knight would have, has not been kind of thrust upon the page yet. So they're still able to have this childlike way about them. For the shadow attribute, it says pessimism, depression, and belief in and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. So for you guys, and this did come out upright, I'm just going to read the light and the shadow attribute, um, in case, you guys wanted to know what the shadow attribute was. But I really do feel like the light attribute applies to you guys more, where you feel like with X, Y, and Z, everything is possible. But right now with this magician in reverse, you're like, is it? Like, you're not really seeing that. You're not really feeling that. Whereas before, you may have thought that things were less bad. And you feel this way because you're coming to a realization that, like, no, some things are a bit more difficult than that. Some things you are not able to just kind of just have a positive outlook about, and then everything will work itself out. So part of the reason you're feeling stuck is because you're coming to this realization that there is there's a lot more energies involved, and it's going to take more than what it took before. So you also have knights. I was just talking about the knight. That's crazy. Okay, so light attributes, loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. Shadow attributes, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. Okay. I actually feel like putting this here. So for those of you who this resonates on a more romantic level, the a part of the reason why you feel this way is because you are realizing that maybe it's kind of like the same thing I was saying with the magician. Like maybe you thought that things were um, kind of more than what they were, and it's almost like, okay, excuse me. It's kind of like you're like when you see something and you think it's one thing and then you realize it's another thing and you're kind of powerless to change it back to the thing that you thought it was before. So it's not that you are completely wrong. I don't want to give that impression that like everything is just like turned up on its head, but it is like a realization for you guys that something is not like fully, it's like you've seen too much. It's like you've seen the good and the bad and you can't like consolidate that and combine that and form like a good solid opinion because of the way you think and because of the way you operate in the world. Like you could have been in this night energy. I feel like this is definitely coming from you guys, Pal One, where it's where you've felt that love to, and this doesn't have to be romantic love per se, but I feel like you guys are the kind of people that give love because you have love to give, and to you it's just natural, but it may not be natural for everyone. And this realization, not that it's like brand new to you, because I feel like there's going to be like a spectrum of people that choose this pile. Some of you are going to be more novice than others, more younger than others. um, but on some level you are learning that you were wrong, and you're having to kind of sit with that, and it's uncomfortable. That's a big part. I think the first thing that came out was like there's like this uneasiness. It's like that's yeah, there's an uneasiness in this because it's not your feelings are saying this is not right. Your feelings are saying this is something wrong. So you have child orphan, light attribute, independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. Shadow attributes, feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. Okay. So you guys could be more, and I just happen to place that right below the Seven of Wands. I don't purposefully like place things like where I think they should go. I just like kind of naturally place them wherever I feel like they need to go. But for you guys, I feel like there's a part of you, and this may not be for all of you, but I feel like for some of you, there's like a strength to you where you have had to be strong in certain circumstances, but even so, you were able to hold on to like that childlike wonder, like that kind of childlike energy about you where you still believe more or less. So for some of you, a part of the unease that you're feeling now may come from this kind of newfound energy of survival. So if you are like in the mindset of just now really coming to terms with the fact that you have to be more safe, more protected than you were in the past, then that is a part of what's causing your uneasiness. And it's something I feel like it's something that you guys really have to sit with, and I feel like a lot of the people that chose this pile are already kind of sitting with it. Um, some of you may need to do some shadow work. I feel like that's not all of you, but some of you, um, because and this is a small like group of you. I feel like shadow work will help because there's a part of you that kind of lets something be, like let something happen around you for so long, and the shadow work will help you to figure out why back then you thought it was okay. Yeah, it's like discovering the part of your like it's like interviewing the part of yourself that thought that that was okay, or that didn't mind that, or that ignored that, or like swept it under the rug. Like for some of you that's going to be Something that comes up, I feel like it's going to be sooner rather than later, but that's for some of you. So you have new life in reverse. So normally I take these cards upright, but it is interesting that it was in reverse. Um, and it's funny because with the archetype cards, I normally take them however they fall because of the shadow attribute. So if they fall reverse, I can just read the shadow attribute. But yeah, that's interesting that new life came in reverse. So some of you are coming to a realization, and this is a part of why you feel so off. You feel like something isn't right, that something's just straight up wrong, because there's a new way of life coming in for you, or that has come in for you, and it's just not sitting right with you. It's not, I feel like this is not something that you chose, and I feel like this is not something that is good for you. Yeah, this is not something that is good for you. Yeah, I almost want to say like at all. Like, I feel like a lot of the people that chose this pile, you guys are having to go through something that is very difficult, or you feel like you will be going through something very difficult, and it's not. I feel like if you're not in the thick of it and you're like just before the thick of it, you like feel that energy coming along and you like don't know what to do with it. Like you don't know how to make peace with that energy. And I feel like the only way to like make peace with an energy like that is to not let it, well, to learn what you need to learn, and if that's a lesson, then so be it. Like just make sure that you actually learn that lesson and retain it. But another way that could be useful is to not let the circumstance kind of rule who you are, or rule your experience. I just got like Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter, and how like it doesn't matter what situation she's in, she's always the same Luna. Like she's always kind of up in, like her head is always up in the clouds. She's always like calm and collected and cheerful all the time. Not to say that you guys have to be like that if you're going through something serious. It's just that I feel like we can all take a page from her book, because it doesn't matter what's going on, she still retains her sense of self. And that is really important. So, for those of you who never saw Harry Potter, just know that I'm referring to a character who like does not change, and she is like she's one of the more magical characters in a series about magic. I'll say that. And for those of you who have watched Harry Potter, well, you know exactly who I'm talking about, and you know why it is important to keep yourself. So you also have, I feel like doing this one first actually. You have card number 17, Sekhmet Justice. So with this card, yeah, definitely, especially with the Magician in reverse, like the whole powerless feeling, you could be feeling like justice is like not on your side, that someone or something close to you, or you yourself, like have not received justice. Like there's not like there's not like this balance of right and wrong in the universe. So you're acknowledging this, and the feeling is not like you have not been able to take this new information or this new realization and incorporate it into your old world yet fully. That is why you feel this way. And I feel like it could be clouding your like everyday life, especially if with this like child orphan card, if you feel the need to be more safe than usual, so you may have to like think like way more than you normally would about your safety, or about the safety of your loved ones. And this is card number 17, which reduces to an 8. So when I think of like the number 8, I think of the infinity symbol, but also a loop, and also like not the end of a cycle, but like the ramping up of a cycle. So if things, yeah, for you guys, I feel like something has like ramped up, and that's why you're having to face this now. Um, yeah. Let's see. You also have To Be Fair, card number 38. Oh my gosh, To Be Fair, Justice. Um, wow, that's crazy. I just realized that. Um, wow, so you guys are having to deal with, and there's actual scales. Okay, hang on, hang on. She actually has scales. I don't know if you guys can see that in this picture. Okay. So there is something not right. You guys feel like there is something that is weighed against you, like not in your favor. There are things that just are not optimal right now. And you need to really sit with that. Ignoring it, I feel like, is going to make your situation worse. I feel like there's even a message here that I'm getting that it by acknowledging it and sitting with it and doing your own work that you can help other people. Like, so the work that you do, the inner work that you do is not just about you, it's about other people as well. Like you're able to help others with that. And yeah, like with everything going on in the world right now, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people chose this pile, because especially with like Sekhmet justice, is like the energy is like ramping up. Like if you just like listen or like watch the news or whatever, it just seems like back to back to back things getting like worse and worse and worse, and like this country and this country and this country. And yeah, so you guys honor what you're feeling right now. You're not wrong to feel this way. Don't try to sweep it under the rug because maybe you were able to do that before, or just, ignore some things that didn't apply to you. Maybe you got whatever you guys did in the past, that's not really going to work now because this is new territory for you. You have a lot of like child, new beginner energy um, for your messages, so you need to actually work on that. This is not something to be ignored. And a part of the reason you feel this way now is because you didn't fully tackle it when you could have in the past. I'm feeling this is not even though this is like new to you, there could have been things similar to this in the past that you didn't fully explore. But with the To Be Fair card, I kind of just like glossed over that. With this card, so I'm kind of getting, well, I did kind of touch on this, but mostly with that card, what I'm getting is a that you need things to be fair, that you need things to be balanced, just for your own mental health. Like you need things to make sense. Like I just heard, make it make sense. Like you need things to make logical, like humane sense is what I is what I just got. Okay. Okay, let me get you guys some charts. So we're gonna start off with the runes, and it's interesting that you guys have the Apache tier as your crystal, because the Apache tier is named for the Apache, and I don't know, it probably is the Trail of Tears, but I could be mistaken. But the crystal itself is about letting your emotions out. So it's good for acknowledging your emotions and actually letting them out. So if you guys have this crystal or have access to this crystal or any crystal like it, I would suggest you work with it for a while just to get some of this energy out, because if you don't get it out, you're just going to continue to feel this way. Like there's no other way through this. You have to feel it. You have to work with it like while it's there. Okay. And some letters. And some numbers. And some charms. So if you're new here, hi, welcome. So I don't actually look in here as I shuffle around. I just shuffle, shuffle, shuffle until I feel like I need to take out a few handfuls. So here I go. Okay. So let's start out with your rune. You have Fehu. So this rune represents the deity Freya, the Norse goddess, and it represents fertility, creation, wealth, luck, abundance. I feel like beauty as well, just because that deity represents beauty. So if you're looking for deities, you have Sekhmet and Freya so far in this reading. I don't know if any other, well, yeah, because this is a beauty charm, but okay, hang on, we'll get to that. So for your letters, you have G, X, I, and N. For your numbers, you have the number 4. And let's see. Oh, you guys got 3 chess pieces. Okay, so for your chess pieces, you have the king, the rook, and the pawn. Okay, so I'm actually going to keep this here. Okay, so with the king, obviously the king is like the biggest, most important piece on the chessboard. Once the king falls, the game is over. So like the queen is pretty powerful, but the whole point is to protect the king pretty much long enough so that you can win the game. So with, oh, and you guys also have I'll explain these first and then go into like what I get from all of it. So with this rook, the rook can go, you know, straight or sideways. It cannot go diagonally. And I feel like it's a very I feel like it's actually one of the more useful pieces. But before I go too much into that, last one, you have the pawn, which can only move um, one place at a time. Same thing with the king. And but unlike the king that can go in any direction, the pawn can only go one space, and then diagonally when they're taking a piece. So what I'm getting from all 3 of these, because I like to take into account like all the chess pieces that came up. So you guys like a more direct, almost like white or black way of looking at things. I also get the sense that you may have thought that you had things more figured out, like to a, again, white or black degree. Um, yeah, I feel like for those that chose this pile, you may have thought one thing, and then now something is gonna be flipped completely on its head. And you may have had to like start at what you feel like is square one, where like you're moving slowly but surely, and you have to move intelligently. That's what I'm getting with this combination of chess pieces. It's like you have to move intelligently now, because things are not as, again, as black and white as you thought that they were before. And you want to move straight forward. You want everything to be like straight, to the point and quick and logical, but it's just not. It's like you know that it's just not gonna play out that way. And the feeling, so I think the why for this pile is really important. It is going to be interesting to see if the other piles follow suit, but for this pile in particular, um, the why you feel this way is really important because it's going to propel you further. And even though it's going to be uncomfortable, it will be very beneficial for you. And like I said before, it will also be beneficial for the people around you. So it's not just going to help you, it is going to help others. Even if they're not like in you, it may not even be people that you know like right now, but it will help others. So you also have the yellow car. So the cars represents travel, fast travel, and the color yellow represents like again childlike. To me, that's like a very childlike color. It also represents solar energy, sacral chakra, not sacral chakra. I'm sorry, solar plexus. I could not I could not say it for a second there. So the solar plexus chakra is all about energy, movement, the things that fuel you, right? Like that's where that comes from. And solar energy is a very active energy as well. Um, so you guys like the why, the whole like why of like why you feel this way. I feel like that is eventually going to propel you. And like I said, it's not just about you, it's going to affect others as well. But I definitely feel like in one way or another it is going to be a very like this situation is going to be a very propelling and ignition, like igniting force is it's going to be an igniting force for you. You also have the green sea glass. So, sea glass is really interesting in the way it's formed, but the short story is that pretty much any piece of glass can be thrown into the ocean, and then after it gets like tossed for a while and it's in the ocean for a while, it will pretty much just wash ashore as sea glass. And you guys got the green one. So, green represents luck, money, prosperity, wealth. It also corresponds with the heart chakra, um, which is love, healing, nurturing energy, just like deep feelings energy. And for you guys, that is really important, especially with like all this childlike, newish energy here. You even have the night here as well. So don't neglect your heart chakra and don't neglect your feelings. Um, I feel like there is also there's like a message of like like by you allowing yourself to feel what you feel in a way that's going to protect your prosperity in a way, like your luck. It's kind of weird the way like it's like phrased in my head, but in a weird way that's going to protect you because it's almost like you won't be swayed, like you won't be like no one will be able to tell you how you feel. It's like that kind of thing. It's like a truth that won't be able to be taken away from you. And last but not least, you have this beautiful charm, which represents inner beauty. It represents the kind of beauty that may not be apparent on the outside, but is very much so apparent on the inside. And it like shines through from the inside out. So it doesn't have to be like the kind of thing that people will look at and be like, "Oh, that's nice, or that's beautiful, or that's cool." It's like they'll get that energy, like they will definitely get that energy. So for you guys, I feel like that is the kind of energy that you will eventually, if not, I feel like some of you could be on the cusp of this, but I feel like that's going to be the energy that you exude. Like you'll be able to like kind of have that, in this case, healing, beautiful energy. Like you're going to be seen as someone who is like beautiful, but not beautiful. It's so weird. It's not like necessarily physically beautiful, but like a beautiful person. Like that's what I'm getting, especially with this charm. But you did get I kind of added beauty onto this room because I was thinking about Freya, but Yeah, there's like some kind of beauty that comes through you from you feeling this. Wow, oh my gosh, that was a strong reading. That was such a strong reading. Thank you guys so much for letting me read for you. Um, like this video if it resonated, comment down below, let me know how I did. Hit subscribe if you are not subscribed already. You can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Reddit, and I also offer personal readings as well. And I will see you guys soon in another reading. Bye. Hi, Paltu. If you chose the Tarot of the Magical Forest as well as this Goldstone Pendulum, then this is your reading. So, why do you feel this way in your situation? You have the Ten of Cups. I don't know if like bunnies are, this was the first one, important to you, because not only does the Ten of Cups have like rabbits or bunnies on it, but when the Six of Wands came out, it kind of hopped out and it reminded me of how a bunny hops. So take that if it resonates. You have the Three of Cups, the Strength card in reverse, Three of Pentacles, okay, so we have the Ace of Swords that looks like it's reversed. Okay, now it wants to be upright. And we also have the Six of Swords. Let me try this one more time. Let me do it this way. Okay, upright it is. And let's get one more and then the back of the deck energy. Okay. Back of the deck energy is the Empress. So lots of threes with this pile. And you also have the Ace of Wands. Okay, so you guys have the Ten of Cups, Six of Wands, Three of Cups, Ace of Wands, Strength in reverse, the Ace of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, and then for the back of the deck energy, you have the Empress. So I feel like you guys are getting things done. This could be a fairly recent accomplishment. This could have been something that you achieved through the help of others, especially with this Three of Pentacles and this Three of Cups here. I feel like you guys might feel accomplished, but also feel like it's like there's two sides. It's like that there's more work to do, but also like that you have to like plan. It's like it's almost like working and resting. So pretty much trying to plan out how to get from A to B, but in a way that is strategic. With this Ten of Cups here as the first card, and then the second card was the Six of Wands. So something has been achieved here. So there's definitely like a happiness, like a celebratory energy. And I feel like you guys feel this way because this has been something you may have already had to strategize to get to this point. It may not have been very easy at all. Especially with the Strength card in reverse, I feel like you guys may have had to be like it may not have even been a matter of strength. It may have been more of just like persistence. Because with the Strength card in reverse, it could be like it could be interpreted as manipulation, but it could also be interpreted as being not not strong in the typical way that people think of strength, either mental or physical. So with these two aces here, the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands, you guys have been like really on the ball, like in terms of your energy, even though now you may like you could just be at a point where like you feel like, okay, this is rest time, and then like a few days, weeks, or however long later I can continue. But you guys feel the way that you feel because you have done so much. Like, you have had to keep your energy so high. You've had to be strong in ways that you like didn't think that you would have to be strong. I feel like you've had to move away from some things too. I feel, yeah, with this Six of Swords, you may have had to move away from something that was just kind of draining your energy or was a distraction. Um, I feel like with this Empress card, so I'm getting the reason I kept saying rest is kind of because of this Empress card, but also because of this Six of Swords. Because when you're like moving away from something, sometimes you need to like rest and heal before you can move on to the next thing. And with this Empress here, like, she's just chilling and she looks like she's accomplished. Like, look at this little piggy Empress. So she looks accomplished. She looks like she has already laid the groundwork for her queendom. Like, she looks like she has already done the bulk of the work. And now it's just kind of basking. So there's lots of positive energy with this pile. So I don't necessarily feel that there is anything that needs to be changed so far. If anything, if something needs to be changed, I would say that it's more so in the whole strategic aspect of it. So if you've already accomplished something, or you feel like you are accomplishing something, there's kind of like a call to make sure that your next move is an intelligent one. So if you're the kind of person that falls back into bad habits, you need to move away from that. You guys can't hardly see that over there, but yeah, the Six of Swords here. You need to make sure that you're doing things in a way that works for you, essentially. So that could be doing something different than you're used to. If you're used to or want to be on a schedule, a strict schedule, it may be better to kind of switch things up and just do things as they come to you. So let's say you normally pay your bills the first day of the month, like all your bills, regardless of whether or not this even due. You just pay everything the first of the month. So that may not work for you, or it may make you more stressed out. So you may say to yourself, okay, I'll do it within the first week or within the first 2 weeks, just to give yourself that wiggle room. Because I do feel like some of the people that chose this pile, they can be kind of stuck and strict, and you kind of punish yourself for not being the original person you wanted to be. So if you wanted to be that person that gets the bulk of the bills and like the financial stuff out of the way the first of the month, but for whatever reason you can't, or it's just not convenient, or it just doesn't make sense, I feel like you guys can kind of turn that around on yourself, despite the fact that it really doesn't make sense to do everything that one day of the month. So for some of you, that's going to be something that you want to look out for, something that you want to just make sure you don't like slip back into those ways. And I do see that you guys have some sort of support. Like, I feel like the support can be small for some of you, but it is very impactful. So you could just have like one person like cheering you on, like, hey, how are you doing? How's this going? Or they're just like, keep up the good work. And like, that means a lot to you. So keep that energy. The fact that you have like even a small level of support, that's going to take you far. So don't think that that's not enough, or that like you're making a big deal out of it. Like, no, support is support. Not everyone has it when they're going through something or when they're trying to do something. So yeah, pat yourself on the back. Remember to pat yourself on the back, and remember to be grateful for the support that you have. So let's get into your oracle cards. You have Destroyer, Light attribute, release what is potentially destructive, preparing for new life. Yes, that's what I was saying with the Six of Swords here. I think it is very possible for you guys to slip back into something that does not serve you any longer. But the shadow attribute says intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. So considering this was upright, and so usually when these cards are upright, the light attribute is the one that is most, that will most resonate with the reader. Well, the person watching, sorry. So if this shadow attribute applies to you, I would just say that your victory does not have to be someone else's destruction. There are two separate things. You don't have to look at anyone with envy, or if someone is looking at you with envy, you don't have to pay attention to that or give that any energy. I feel like it could be both ways, where for some people you kind of see and focus more on looking at other people, and for others of you, you know that other people are looking at you. That has nothing to do with you. So if you fall into the second category of people looking at you, that has nothing to do with you. Make sure that it does not affect your energy at all, and definitely make sure you don't slip into any negative or like malicious mind space where you think that your victory is someone else's defeat, or like that there's not enough victory for like everyone, you know, like that kind of mindset where you're like, haha, I'm better than you. Like, make sure you make sure you're not falling into that. You have networker. Light attribute enhances unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy. Shadow attributes conveys information only for personal gain, spreads fear and falsehood. Wow. Okay, so some of you who chose this pile may actually do that. Like, that could be one of the things that you need to move away from, or a part of like why you feel this way is because your victory may have come with the feeling that like you're ahead of someone else. So yeah, just be mindful of that, because that's altogether like not good energy to be in, and I feel like it just kind of fuels the fire for any negative things coming your way. It's almost like it leaves an opening for it when you feel that way. Whereas if you were to just focus on yourself, it's almost like you would be, I almost want to say like protected against other things, because you wouldn't have so much fuel to the fire coming at you, I guess. So with the light attribute, it does say to share information and like kind of have a good awareness of yourself, and it also says empathy here as well. So make sure that you stay aware of how you're thinking. You do have the Ace of Swords here. Make sure that you're aware of how you're, oh, and you have the Three of Pentacles with networking. Okay, so make sure that you are not consciously or unconsciously belittling someone else, or just kind of taking away from them when you don't have to. Like, your joy, your accomplishments, your achievements, your happiness, your happily ever after does not have to take away from anyone else's. So we have time for a nap. Wasn't I talking about resting earlier? This is card number 24. So yeah, some of you at the time or close to the time when you are watching this reading, it's going to be more of a time for you to rest. Like, you could have already put in all the work. Like, you already, like, it's rest time. It's time for you to take time to rethink, regroup, celebrate. You know, like, for some of you, it's not so much as a like grinding work time. It's more so a time for resting, relaxing, regrouping, rethinking, just kind of like have that reset. So you also have Message in a Bottle in reverse. This is card number 15. Now with these, like with this deck, because it doesn't have like a reverse or like a negative or a shadow aspect, I don't normally take these cards upright, but I did see that it fell reverse when I did the pre-shuffle, so I'm gonna place it here upright, but I just wanted to show you guys that it did come out in reverse. So Message in a Bottle. you guys could be receiving, I feel like you guys, not only could you be receiving like maybe messages like this where it's like a reading where it's like letting you know things that maybe you have not paid attention to before, but in addition I also feel like oh, by the way, 1 5 2 to 4, they both condense to a 6, and you guys have 2 6s here as well, so 6s, 3s, and 1s are important for you guys. Yeah, so message in a bottle. I feel like this is just another uh it's like another message for you guys to be aware of what you're sending out and what you're giving in. It's kind of like what I was saying earlier about how if you just like kind of more or less mind your business and not really be worried about others in terms of envy or in terms of what they think of you, you would be much better off. And I feel like sometimes you could be unconsciously just sending out things that you don't want to send out, or just sending out things that you don't want coming back to you in a bad way. So just be mindful of that. I feel like for the people who chose this pile, you guys could be unconsciously doing things that may come around and not necessarily bite you in the butt, although that is definitely possible, but just not be good for you when it comes around. By the way, I'm just now realizing 631 631. That's crazy. And again, you have the number 3 here, and the 1 5 condenses to 6, 2 4 condenses to 6. So I don't know if these numbers mean anything to you guys, but take it if it resonates, because it is there. It is there in plain sight. Okay, let's see. You guys also have Between Worlds, also in reverse, and it's a 3. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Again, I just wanted to show you guys that it was in reverse, but I am going to place it here upright. So, Between Worlds. This to me is another message. Oh, and it's interesting. You have 2 birds here, and that's a fox there, and that looks like a fox there. Now I'm just pointing out like the animals real quick. That looks like cats. I said bunnies earlier. Pig, bunnies again. Frog, lion, and sheep. Okay, so with the Between Worlds card, I'm getting that there's an important transition, again, like what I was saying with the 6 of Swords, where like you're moving away from something. Not only moving away from something in terms of like making sure that you're not falling into old bad habits, but I feel like there's also a message here about knowing when to change, and sometimes that change could be rest, it could just be kind of stopping and reanalyzing, but there is an importance to not only acknowledge the difference between something, but pay attention to like when you're in the middle of something, because when you're in the middle of it and not fully on either side, that can be when you fall back into old habits or just kind of stay in the middle for too long. So you could be feeling like, I'm getting that there's like a happiness or accomplishment here, but for some of you, you may not know like truly how to move forward with that same energy because of all of this, because of falling back into old habits, or because of support or lack thereof, because of knowing when or when not to rest. That could be very difficult for you guys. Yeah, I feel like that's for a lot of you, that could be something that's just not really on the agenda. Like you don't really factor that in a lot of the time, or when you do, like you're too hard on yourself. So the feeling that I'm getting mostly for this pile is accomplishment, but also like a need to grind or just like keep going. So like if you worked for a long time and that's yielded positive results, you may feel like you need to do that exact same thing or have that exact same energy or attitude in order to get good results again. But a part of the message for this group is that no, you need to rest. You need to honor that in between time. You need to actually pay attention to like what you're putting out and what you're kind of absorbing or like digesting into you, because you could be some of the people that chose this pile, I feel like actually a lot of you could be the kind of people that will like you feel other people around you. So if someone is like giving you the evil eye, or if someone is thinking bad about you, you probably feel it. Like you probably feel that energy, or you feel that something's off. There'll be like an unease there. So don't ignore that, but also don't get caught up in it either. Like it's like you can acknowledge it, but don't spend too much time on it. So you feel this way. I feel like a lot of you already kind of know a lot of this, but it is on a almost subliminal or unconscious level. So you feel this way because you have all this stuff going on that you probably have not taken a whole lot of time to sit with and think about. I was saying earlier that there may be things that you have to analyze before going forward, or you may have to regroup, rethink, rechannel some of that energy. Yeah, let's see. So for your last oracle card, this is Satet. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but it is fruitfulness, and this is card number 27. So this is the only odd, well, it's 27, so it condenses to a 9, but 369. I don't know if like the three, why am I blanking out on what it's called? I almost said the three squared numbers. 3 squared, 3 cubed. Okay, I don't, I'm missing the term there. It's a mathematical term for like division of 3. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if those numbers are significant to you, but take it if it resonates. It may, I feel like for some of you it's just like for these numbers, I feel like they may be important in the tarot for you, but like that, like as in there are certain cards, like the cards here, that just like will resonate with what you're going through and why you feel this way. But I feel like it could also have another message for people who look up numerology, or just have like maybe they've been seeing the same numbers multiple times, like 666 or 333, or like some kind of combination, or like 111, you know. So it doesn't have to be, I'm just putting it out there because I did notice that and it keeps coming up. But you did get the card of fruitfulness. So again, and that just happened to fall right under the 10 of cups. I don't, like, I just kind of place these cards where I think that they need to go, you know, except for the order of the tarot. I kind of try to place that however it came out. But you guys could have like this very fruitful energy about you, where you feel the need to generate, to create, to just like keep going, keep grinding. And it's not necessarily meshing well with the other things that you have going on. You have work to do in order to fully take advantage of that energy. And actually, because I am unfamiliar with that deity, I'm going to look them up in this little book here. Okay, so it says Satet. She is depicted as a woman with the crown of Upper Egypt with 2 gazelle horns on top. Her name derives from the she who pours, which symbolizes the floods of the river Nile, or she who runs like an arrow, that is the current of the flowing river. In fact, she represents natural forces and phenomena. As goddess of fertility, she could signal to you the successful start of a new project or a new job. If you are in search of love, Satet can help you and answer your wishes. If you are already in a relationship, she can bring you stability or even marriage, because she protects new projects. Okay, so for some of you that are starting something new, you are protected. Like, there is something, maybe you're doing something that has to do with your purpose, or maybe you're just doing something that just has a lot of positive energy around you. You do have the 3 of cups and the 3 of pentacles, which does kind of, especially in this reading, it shows that you have like some sort of support. So you guys are supported in whatever you're doing, which is probably why you need to get out of any negative energy, or like any kind of backsliding that you did in the past, because if you're doing both of those things, it's going to be harder for you to actually accomplish the things that you're trying to accomplish. So yeah, it's okay to like keep going, but just make sure that you know when to rest, know when to like let things go, and when to move forward, when to take into account like kind of what you're putting out into the universe. Um, Not necessarily like in the physical way, but like in the more energetic way. So yeah, I feel like yeah, if you guys were feeling like stuck or kind of like foggy brain, like your mind was foggy, that could be why. That there's just like a lot of stuff going on, and you need to actually sort through it. But also honor when it's time to rest, when it's time to regroup. So let's get you guys some charms and some letters. And some numbers. Oh, you got two fives. That's interesting. I was half expecting one of the numbers divisible by three to come up. But so, if you're new here, hi, welcome. I don't actually look in here as I shuffle around and get you guys some charms. I just keep shuffling until I feel like I've gotten out enough charms. So let's see what comes out for you guys. Okay. Okay, you guys had some stuff fly over here. But for your rune, you have Thurzaz. There you go. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is one Joe. Thurzaz will have. It looks less like a P and more of like a flag, but there you go. That's one Joe. So this is another like symbol for like joy because you guys have a lot of like joy here. This is also a rune about comfort. Um, Pleasure and also like prosperity and harmony and also fellowship. For your letters, you have J-O-M and D. When I saw J-O, I automatically thought of joy. And for your numbers, you have two fives. So you guys could be seeing a lot of repeating numbers. Oh, you guys got two of the heart charms. Okay, so this one is the front side of what used to be a necklace, and this is the front side of it. There's also a back side, and you guys also have the heart locket here. Try to open it up. There. Okay, so for some of you, and I like how this card mentioned romance or relationships as well. So for some of you, this is going to be more of a romance message, but for some of you it's going to be for the self. Like for some, well, it's probably both for a lot of you, but there is a message here to give yourself self-love and to also pay attention to the loves that are in your life. This could be platonic, this can also be romantic. So if there is a so whatever relationship came to mind really is probably the one that you need to focus on. But if there is a relationship in your life where something needs to be more balanced, or just something needs to be addressed, you need to make sure that you are kind of promoting yourself first, to be your own advocate. I don't know what I said. But with these two heart charms, there is a message to make yourself kind of more whole with that, especially with this charm. With this charm, a lot of the times I mostly feel like it's like putting yourself first, like making sure that your emotions are not neglected. And with this one, it's more so like a wholeness, like a completion type energy. And you did get the 10 of Cups, first card out. The cups obviously represent like emotion, your heart. Um, it represents like healing. Um, well, yeah, that's. I think I already said emotion. So yeah, that's. So the cups are like the most emotional of the suits. And it's interesting that you didn't get the 10 of Pentacles, but you did have messages of prosperity here. So let's see. You also have attend to business today. Leave that street side flower alone. So what this message means is it's like tend to your own garden, which is kind of what I was getting with these two cards. It's like for some of you, you could be involved in things that are none of your business. And this is just another message to like, hey, you gotta kind of funnel your energy into something else, because like a part of why you feel so could be clouded, it could be kind of discombobulated, is because of this type of energy. Let's see. So you have 3 chess pieces. You have the king, the queen, and the rook. So that is interesting. So the king and queen, and this goes more so with like the people that are feeling a certain way because of romance. So there is a certain aspect of like teamwork here. Again, 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, teamwork and support that needs to be used and kind of honored here and kept up. With the rook, I'm getting that you guys, and I always confuse, I'm going to go ahead and apologize, because even though I know the function of the pieces, for some reason I've been playing chess for years, well, on and off for years, and for some reason I still say bishop sometimes when I mean rook, and vice versa. So I apologize if I get the name wrong. But with this one, I'm mostly getting that the way that you guys have to move, or the way that you guys are kind of being pushed to move, may not be straightforward. It may not be the way that you originally wanted to go. Maybe you had a pretty drawn out, more or less straight line, or it's yeah, more or less straight line for how to get from A to B. And this is a message saying that like, no, you may have to veer off that a little bit, because this piece goes diagonally. It does not go straight forward or backward or from side to side. It has to go diagonally. So the queen can go any way she wants. She can zoom across the board. She can take other pieces and not have to be like in a weird situation like the knight, for example. or even the pawn. So yeah, you guys, and of course the king can move. It's similar, but it can only move one space at a time. So you guys are being called to think about your moves, and to also plan. Yeah, definitely plan ahead and honor the in between, like where you are now, and the rest time as well. So, wow. Thank you for letting me read for you, Pal 2. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below. Let me know how I did. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed already. You can also find me on Tumblr, Instagram, TikTok, and Reddit. And I also offer personal readings now, and all that information is going to be in the description box below. And I will see you guys in another reading. Bye. Hi, Pal 3. If you chose the Crystal Power Tarot as well as this Tiger's Eye Crystal, then this is your reading. So, Pal 3, why do you feel this way? You have the 6 of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, the Fool, the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, the Five of Pentacles, the Hermit, Strength, there's one more under there, and then the back of the deck energy. Okay, so you have Strength and the Eight of Swords. And if I can't fit this all, I can do it this way. No. Oh goodness. Okay, I'll just move it down. Okay. Everything is kind of mostly in the shot. Okay, so I'm gonna go over all of these because there's also like a message written on all of these cards. Okay, so the Six of Pentacles is Malachite. I give and receive for the universal good. Page of Swords, Ametrine. I take care of the detail. I stay in control. The Fool, Clear Quartz, Amethyst, Sodalite, Green Aventurine, Citrine, Carnelian, and Red Jasper. I am guided and protected on my life journey. Eight of Swords, Sugarlight. I think that's how you pronounce that. I release myself from self-inflicted bonds. Nine of Pentacles, Malachite. I take the time I need to nurture myself. Five of Pentacles, Malachite. I am supported and never alone. The Hermit, Turquoise. I follow my own path. Strength, Hermiker, Diamond. I can deal with whatever comes my way. And Five of Cups, Aquamarine. I will move forward when the time is right. Okay, so I feel like for a pile 3, you guys can be feeling like you're not where you need to be. It could be like a novice or beginner energy with the Fool and the Page of Swords here. There is also like an imbalance. Like I'm feeling that it's almost like on one hand you have like what it's like what should be because of the work that you put in or because of just what has happened so far, and then on the other hand you have like this disappointment or this kind of unaccomplished energy over here. So yeah, you guys could be feeling like things are not working out the way you wanted them to. You could also be feeling like you have to constantly start over or constantly have to redo something. This could be like just having to rethink something, having to reanalyze something. With the Five of Pentacles right next to the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, I get the sense that even though something should have been accomplished, like it fell short, and now you're feeling like you may be having trouble kind of dealing with that. So maybe you're not even in the space yet where you can feel fully disappointed. It's more so trying to fix it. Some of you could definitely be feeling disappointed or that things, just kind of feel down and out. With the Hermit card and Strength next to each other, I'm getting that there's like a need for you to be internally strong, but also to like have everything intact and like to keep yourself together. It's like there's not really room here for you to either rest or really kind of sit with this energy. Like you can feel it, but you're not fully able to like meditate in it. Yeah, with this Five of Cups here, I will move forward when the time is right. So I feel like for you guys, it could be like something that you're rushing. It could also be like you could be unintentionally trapping yourself in this mindset because you feel like things are not going the way they are supposed to or that they should have gone. You could have even made adjustments previously and that still didn't yield the results that you want. So it's like you're trying to balance that. You're trying to balance things like the way you know how to do something, or the way maybe you've been told, or just changing things up, balancing that with the fact that things are not fully going the way you want them to. So it takes like a very internal and very like kind of sacred strength and sense of self in order to move through that. Let's see. For your oracle cards, you have, and I feel like the Six of Pentacles may tie into something. I feel like I'm not done with that card yet, but you also have Trickster, Light Attribute, Transcending Convention, Stuffiness and Predictable Behavior, Shadow Attribute, Manipulating Others through Duplicity. So with these cards, if it fell upright, I will mostly just take the light attribute because that's the one that happens to resonate most of the time. But I also just want to like read to you guys the shadow attribute as well. So for you guys, I'm definitely feeling that you've had to change stuff up. Like maybe you were very strict, or you were very conventional. I almost wanted to say pretentious, but some of you could have been that way in the past, and you have had to change things up, and it's just not working. So like you've been kind of tempted to do things in a either underhanded way, or if not straight up underhanded, just in a way that you were kind of trying to stay away from before. And it's getting like, it's not necessarily malicious or duplicitous. It could just be something that's not what you wanted. Like for you, it could be cheating. Like, you know how uh some people are very very prideful, and depending on what it is, they could think of asking others for help as cheating, or they could think of like other ways to like reach out and get whatever resources is the problem as cheating, because they think that they should be able to do it by themselves. So it could be something like that, and not necessarily full trickster behavior. But for some of you, that is something that you need to kind of keep an eye on. Not that you shouldn't do anything that you did not consider in the past, but it's just something to keep in mind, because a big part of why you feel this way is because of how things have been going, and how you've had to kind of move with it and evolve with it, even though it may not have yielded the results that you want. Oh, you got a reversal. Okay, so this is Priest, and I'm going to read both. The light attribute is facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Shadow attributes violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. Okay, I knew I was gonna have to come back to this Six of Pentacles, because the Six of Pentacles says, I give and receive for the universal good. And that made me think of people who like work through, or I almost wanted to say force spirit. Like, I know that's a weird way to phrase it, but it made me think of someone who is like a tarot reader, a Reiki healer, just some, even if they're not necessarily spiritual, they are someone who takes it upon themselves to educate or just help others. And the Six of Pentacles is mostly it's a card that is about balance. It could also be like favors, like a balance of favors, like you do this for me, I do this for you. And it could also be depicted sometimes in a not so good way, like in a way where like you wouldn't, it's probably not your first choice of trade. I'll say that. So yeah, so a part of why you guys are in this space is that there's something spiritual, or something just like, I don't want to say religious. I feel like it's mostly spiritual, where you feel like you're not going, like things are not the way they are supposed to be, or like maybe you've been waiting so long for something, or if not waiting, you've just been like expecting things to happen. And it's not that you haven't been getting any of what you wanted per se, it's just not in the way that you wanted it. So you may not be impatient, but you could just be expecting things to be different. And if you have been duplicitous, then yeah, that's a part of why you're you're in the space where you're at, because if you tried to do something in an underhanded way and it didn't work out, then it just like that wasn't the way you were supposed to achieve that goal. You have card number 45, time to go. Time to go. Okay. With this card, I'm mostly getting that it's like time for a change, like time for like some sort of positive action. And of course, like go, because when people think of like the phrase go or like time to go, it kind of, the connotation is kind of like that whatever is going on now is not it, is not like where you need to be, what you need to be doing, etc. So yeah, for those of you who have been doing something underhanded, or if you've just been focusing too much on the things that have not gone your way, it's time to change that up. It's time to kind of shake off that negative energy. Like, what's that song? Like, brush your shoulders off? Like, that's. And I also heard, like, what was it? Shake It Off by Mariah Carey. Like, that's the imagery I'm getting. Like, it's time for you guys to shake something off. And you did get like this novice energy here, or like beginner energy here with the Page of Swords and the Fool. The Page of Swords is also a card that can talk about like research and like really thinking about the ways to start, in your case, start over. Um yeah, and you got the Hermit here as well, and the Hermit is all about like kind of going within and learning the things that you need to learn, coming to peace with the things that you need to come to peace with. And with the Strength card, a lot of times I get the Strength card in um it most, like, especially for you guys, it feels like strength in a way of having to do something that you were either you were avoiding, or that you just did not, you may not have even thought about doing it just because that's how much you didn't want to do it. It's like that kind of thing where like mental strength, more or less. That's what it is, mental strength. And a strength of self. It could be spiritual strength as well. When I think of spiritual strength, I think of not only having conviction, but having, like, doing whatever it is that you need to do despite not seeing the fruits of your labor just yet. So it, like faith is a big part of spiritual strength when I think about it. You also have No Place Like Home, card number 50. So, No Place Like Home. So you guys could have a part of what you are trying to do could feel very nurturing for you. It could feel like something that you are meant to do, again, with like the spiritual aspect of it, with this Priest card and the Six of Pentacles. So there could be something that you need to get back to. So if you have been doing something for the wrong reasons, you need to get back to the reason, like the true core, the true good feeling that you originally had. And that will clear up. Yeah, I feel like that will definitely clear up like any discontent that you had with things not going the way you thought that they would go. Because if you did have that feeling and you were in that energy, then the rest would just flow way more easier. Like you wouldn't even worry about it. So you also have, and this is card number 21, Knum, resourcefulness. I probably pronounced that wrong. So, but yeah, this is another message about like kind of learning and being like knowing who you are, coming back to yourself, and just like not only to yourself, but just like really doing any research, doing any like asking around, even if that applies to you guys, for like information, because you guys may be hesitant to reach out in that way. Again, like maybe you could feel like it's cheating or something, that you should be able to do it on your own. But this is another message another kind of reminder to be resourceful. Make sure that you are getting information wherever you can get it, because sometimes the universe is like that. Sometimes you'll get the answer to something you're going through from a song. Sometimes it could be from literally someone passing you on the street and just saying something that makes sense for what you're going through. And it resonates with you, but you're like, oh, that's just a coincidence. Like, so this is another, like pay attention to the messages that are coming in. Pay attention to when you find things that you can use. So it doesn't just have to be information, it could be anything. Just pay attention to the things that you can use, and that will actually help you to move forward. Let's see, let's get you guys some charms. And as usual, we're going to start out with the runes. Okay, and letters. And numbers. Okay, and let's get you guys some charms. So if you're new here, hi, welcome. I don't actually look in here as I shuffle around. I just shuffle, shuffle, shuffle until I feel like it's time to take out however many charms I need to take out. Alright, here I go. Okay, so let's start off with your rune, and I always do it upside down, but this rune is called Udus, and it represents the ox. Also strength, untapped potential, speed. It's like a really good like kind of freedom energy type of, yeah, it's like freedom and like positive forward energy. It could also represent wisdom as well, because you can make an argument that in order to go forward with something with the most positive energy and the most positive outcome is to have good wisdom behind it as well. So for your letters, you have T, so ATL, Atlanta, and I. You know what that makes me I thought of Atlanta because I think when you are like getting a ticket, like a plane ticket or a train ticket, I think ATL is what, like when you're going to Atlanta, that's the like abbreviation they have. Let's see. You have the, oh, let me do the numbers first. You have the number 7 and the number 2. Right, and you guys have the beauty charm. Sometimes I think of this as like the untapped beauty charm, or just like the kind of beauty that is inside but it like flows outward, like that's how like awesome you are on the inside. So it's like, not to take away from anyone's physical beauty, but with this charm I always get like that inner beauty that shines outward, that is like indisputable. So yeah, so you guys could be, that could be a part of like what you're going through, where it kind of chips at your self-esteem. So it may not have to do with outer beauty, it could just be like a self-esteem type thing, like things aren't going my way. Oh, am I really this good? Am I really good enough? Like, so if you guys are feeling that, you really need to honor where like the steps that you are taking, of course, and also like where you need to change. And also try not to be hard on yourself, because with this 8 of Swords here, it's just another reminder that you can like get yourself trapped in a negative mindset. So make sure that you are not being too hard on yourself, and if you need to be, make sure that you maintain that kind of learner, beginner energy, and keep that inner strength. So, and that's better, easier said than done. But I feel like if you're constantly working on yourself and constantly in a either childlike or novice energy, then the rest will flow much more easier. Okay, so you have, there you go. Finally, let's focus. Okay, so with this one, I always confuse the Pisces and the Gemini. Like the Pisces one just looks. Okay, so that one is actually Gemini. So Gemini energy is, well, for one, it's air energy, but it's also energy of like having dual nature. So you guys could, like, on one side, you could be in the energy that you need to be, but then on the other hand, you could be kind of in that negative energy because you did have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse and also the Five of Pentacles. So I feel like that's just another. I feel like sometimes you actually are in this Nine of Pentacles energy, but then you flip flop back. So make sure that you're keeping your you don't have to constantly keep your energy high. I feel like that's something that people can get kind of caught up in, and then they get disappointed that their energy isn't always high. Just keep your energy neutral as a baseline, and make sure that you're like keeping yourself positive, or if you can't keep yourself positive, at least not blame yourself for when things don't go well. Like, make sure that you're not getting stuck in the Eight of Swords energy where it's like you can't see the forest from the trees, like that kind of thing. Also, Gemini energy is also well, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is a planet all about like intelligence, communication. So that's another message for you guys. So that came up several times. So, resourcefulness, like, make sure that you are keeping your options open. Oh, this went all the way over here. I almost didn't see that. So yeah. Also, Geminis are really adaptable. Like, they can adapt to different situations. So you also have, I'll do this one first and then get to the message in the bottom. You guys have the green bells. So the bells represent belief. I actually put these charms in here, these bells, because of the movie The Polar Express. Freaking love that movie. Not ashamed at all. But yeah. So the color green corresponds with the heart chakra. It also corresponds with like luck, prosperity, like wealth, and also like growth. Like that's what I was trying to say. Like, it represents like new beginnings and growth. And last but not least, you guys have the message in a bottle. So with this charm, it goes for that like resourcefulness. Like, you could be getting like help or resources from places maybe you didn't think about before. It's not cheating to get help from people. Just be aware of like all the options that you have, because yeah, you guys, like, that's really the only way to get out of this funk that you're in. You have to actually allow yourself to spread outward where you can, and also to go within when necessary. And it's going to be difficult sometimes to balance that, because if things aren't going your way, that can be kind of distracting. But there is kind of an underlying message to have faith, especially with this priest card. I know that can be very difficult for my pile threes, but there is a message here to stay true to yourself and stay true to your goal, which means having faith. So thank you so much for letting me read for you, pile 3. That was very interesting. Like, comment, and subscribe. I am on Instagram, Tumblr, TikTok, and Reddit if you would like to follow me over there. And I also do personal readings now, and all of that information is going to be in the description box below. And I will see you guys soon in another reading. Bye. Hi, pile 4. If you chose this black tourmaline point as well as the everyday tarot, then this is your reading. So, why do you feel this way, pile 4? You have Judgment, the 5 of Wands, the 4 of Pentacles, the Page of Wands in reverse, The Three of Wands in reverse. That one was like dancing around before it came out. The Ten of Wands. The Two of Wands. The Empress. In the back of the deck energy is the King of Wands. King of Swords, sorry. Okay. So you guys could be feeling like burnt out, I'm getting. Um, you could just have a lot of stuff going on. So I feel like Pile 4, there's something like conflicting in your energy, especially with the Five of Wands right next to Judgment. You could be being too hard on yourself. You could just have like a lot going on, and so like it's impossible to feel fully accomplished. But with this Four of Pentacles, I get the sense that there's a lot that needs to be maintained. And with the Three of Wands in reverse, as well as the Two of Wands, you could be in this energy where you don't know where you're coming or going. You could be in just such a very busy, you could be like in, like, you know how sometimes you're doing a lot of work, but at the end you feel like you've got nothing done because you haven't actually done the things that you wanted to do, like what you consider to be mileposts. It's like that kind of energy with you guys. Yeah, especially with the Page of Wands in reverse, because normally the Page of Wands represents like a new idea, but it's also like that new kind of beginner energy. It's also childlike energy as well, but it represents like that kind of solar plexus starter energy, like when you first have a new idea and like you're like ready to go, like you're ready to get the materials, or like you're ready to tell someone or do whatever it is that you have to do, but you guys have it in reverse. So it feels like you guys, like maybe you do have that kind of energy, but then after that you get burnt out because there's like all this other stuff going on. With the Ten of Wands, with the Empress, you could feel like it's your duty, or like that you should be doing this, that it's your calling or it's your job. Like there's some sort of, there's like a need for this to get done, and but by you. It's like, and it could be a burden sometimes, but it feels like this is something that only you can do, or maybe you feel like it's like because of the way you do it, like that's the best way. Not it doesn't necessarily have to be the best way, but like it's important. And with the King of Swords as the back of the deck energy, you could be very analytical and very like hard on yourself when it comes to things that you cannot achieve. You could be judging yourself constantly. I feel like you're not really allowing yourself like that kind of rebirth, like that revamp that people need when they've reached burnout. You guys could be kind of stuck in that weird limbo space where you're not where you were previously, but you're not really allowing yourself to have that redo, have that re-evaluation. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you were drawn to pile 3 as well, because they had like a lot of cards to like talk about like inner work and like re-evaluation. But yeah, you guys need to acknowledge, I feel like one of the things that you need to like really take from this reading is that well, for one thing, you need to acknowledge where you are and how you're feeling, because with this King of Swords, you could be more in a masculine energy, or maybe you feel like you're just not, like there's like really no time, or you're just not afforded the luxury of really thinking about yourself, or like thinking about how you feel and like how that plays into everything. So one of the messages that you guys need to take from this is that it is okay to not do everything in the exact same time that you wanted to do it in. And it's also important to allow yourself the space to actually be flexible and to flow, even when like you can't, like if you don't know what's ahead and like something comes up, if you are in more of a flow or like a childlike energy, you're going to be able to navigate that much more easier because you won't be in like this strict I just got Capricorn energy for some reason. Like, there's not even like, is there any Pentacle cards? No, there's not. No, there's Four of Pentacles. But I just felt like what reminded me of Capricorn energy of like this go-getter. They're very strategic, responsible, disciplined, but the kind of negative side to that is that they could be kind of pessimistic or like miserly or like too rigid essentially. So just make sure you keep that in mind. Let's see what your oracle cards have to add. You have Hermit. That's interesting because pile 3, I mentioned pile 3 and they also had the Hermit. Not this card obviously, but they had the Hermit tarot card. So for the light attribute, it says, seek solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. Shadow attribute withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgment from others, refusing to help those in need. So you guys, this judgment could be coming from others as well. Although I do feel like it comes from you. You could be like a part of why you're feeling this way. It could be judgment from others. So if you really are like kind of like a person that is in charge, or you feel like there's like a lot to do, you may feel that others are not going to be soft on you. Like you probably feel like they're going to be hard on you and like criticizing you, and that's a part of why you're kind of, I almost want to say the word stuck, but why you are like in this energy of like not feeling fulfilled, not feeling like you are exactly where you need to be. Even though you could have gone far, like you could have already done a lot, but it doesn't seem like enough from where you are right now. You have Pioneer, light attribute, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. Shadow attribute, compulsive need to keep moving on. Okay, so I feel like for you guys, the shadow and the light attribute kind of applies here, where like you have something that you want to accomplish, but because of how rigid you are, it's kind of difficult to move forward with that, because it's not perfect, because things are going to get in the way. Things are going to have to be kind of getting at from another angle, which is not the angle you thought you would be coming at this from. So there's a lot of like rethinking to be done here. And with this King of Swords, I feel like it's a very, like the way that you are thinking about it, it is very intelligent, but it's very rigid. So you have card number 41, Soulmates. So for some of you, there is a romantic kind of angle here where, and you could be, because we did get like a maternal, and then like, because the kings can be seen as like the fatherly figures as well, and you guys did get both. So this could be a part of you being like a parent, or like you could be thinking of like your spouse, but also your children, I feel like. Or you could, like, even if like it doesn't have to be children. Like you don't have to be like like two spouses with children. But I'm mostly getting that there are responsibilities that you have that you feel like you can be failing in, or you feel like you're just not like it. To a certain extent, it's a burden because you have not been able to do everything that you want to do in the organized and kind of detailed, flowing way that you want to get it done. So I'm also seeing that you guys may have, like, this could be whether you're in a relationship or not, but you could have like this kind of view of things should be a certain way, and it's not going that way for you guys, and it's kind and it's distracting, and understandably so, because if you're trying to accomplish something and like for some reason it just like is not working out, it kind of begs the question, okay, like what am I doing wrong? How do I change things up? Like, is it me? Am I being too this? Am I da 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 da? So so yeah, that's something that you need to like kind of keep, Like, don't forget about the things that you need to work on. I feel like for this pile, I just needed to say that because you guys, it's not that you sweep things under the rug, but I feel like you guys are more likely to just be so caught up in the physical action, or even like the mental part of like thinking about everything that you need to do, that you forget about the things that need to be done more on like the inner side. You forget about like the things like self-care, or just like taking time to think about how you feel, like that kind of thing. You have yin, so more of that like feminine energy. I'm going to place that here. So there is a lot of like, there's a lot of feminine energy, but there's also an energy of okay, it's like a how do I say this, like it's like it's zoning in on not just feminine energy, but specifically healing energy. So you guys could, like, the judgment that you have on yourself, it's probably having more of an effect on your mental health and on like your day-to-day life than you think. You probably think that you have the same judgment as everyone else, like, oh, everyone is hard on themselves, or like everyone thinks this and that when something goes wrong, but that doesn't change the fact that this is really affecting you. So you need to really pay attention to that and really honor yourself and take the time to heal yourself. Remember, you did get the Hermit here, so it's like it's a call to focus on your inner life. So you also have Loyal Heart, card number 35. So that's the second card you guys have about like romance. You got the owls and the penguins here. So for some of you, there is a call to pay attention to your romance, like your romantic connections. For some of you, I feel like for a small amount of you, if the like romance stuff, not the romance, if the relationship stuff resonates at all, for a small portion of you is going to be platonic, but for most of you, if it's resonating for you, then it's going to be romantic. So make sure that you are paying attention to those relationships and how they affect you and how you affect them, like the energy that you're putting into the relationships, because especially with the like cards like this Five of Wands and like the Three of Wands reverse, you could be at a kind of standstill where you're not able to do, again, you're not able to do all of what you want to do. So for some of you, in order to kind of peruse and like get through this problem, is to not only focus on healing yourself, but there's two things. Healing yourself will heal this partnership relationship, and also one of the things that you have to do, or that you seek to do, is to be a better partner, I'm getting, or to just be more there, be more present. So yeah, don't forget that part either, because even though there's a lot of cards about healing and like self-healing and stop being so judgy about yourself, there's also like a message of being able to give, like being able to pour out of your cup, which obviously you can't pour out if the cup is empty, and you also have to make sure that you have enough, so that you're not just giving and that you're an empty vessel. So yeah, just be mindful of that. A lot of these cards only have one person, except for the Five of Wands that typically has five people. But with these two cards here, it's like there's an importance here. So some of you may have been willing to overlook this or think like, oh, like the romance part is not, like that's not what this is about. And for some of you, yes, this is what this is about. So let me clear that up right here and now. So some of you is definitely about romance. So take it if it resonates. You'll know if it resonates. You'll know. Don't try to talk yourself out of it. So for your last card, you have Capri Change. This is card number 18. And this is card number 35, by the way. This is 41, and this is 2. So yeah, there's some sort of like underlying, like, you know that something needs to shift, to change. You may not know how to get there. I feel like one of the ways to get, well, I'm gonna read the deck for this because I'm not familiar with this deity, but I feel like one of the ways to get there is to just be less hard on yourself, less judgmental, less hardworking in a way. Like, approach it more from a place of ease and a place of trust and a place of flexibility. And I feel like that will solve a lot of the problems. Childlike energy can also help too, but I feel like for you guys that could be like that'll be harder to do because you're in such a rigid energy right now. So if you can't get yourself in a kind of childlike energy, just try to be more flexible, you know, try to be more try to plan things so that if you fail it's not so bad, or like just not plan so many things. But let's see, card number 18. Okay, God of the Sun's daily rebirth and the cyclical renewal, represented by a scarab, Khepri is black as darkness, the beginning of all things. He symbolizes the transformation of humans in their stages: life, death, rebirth, the victory of light over darkness, of life over death, the becoming, the generative power symbol of rebirth. Oh, the becoming, the generative power symbol of rebirth. His appearance might announce the end of a cycle, a breakdown, disappointments, or the wrecking of affections, but everything is constantly changing, like every day and night. And Khepri encourages you to get up every day with the light of faith and hope, because after the night, a new day always dawns. So I'm actually gonna put this closer because I feel like I butchered the words there. So yeah. So for you guys, the change, it could be more destructive than you would like, but there is a kind of like a change on its way. Yeah, and I feel like it's going to shake things up for you, not necessarily in a bad way, but it could be in a way that's not positive for you. So the only reason I hesitate to say bad is because even if something doesn't feel great like the day that it happens, it doesn't mean that it is altogether a bad thing. A lot of times people, especially if it's not something that's like totally devastating, a lot of times people will say, actually even after that, depending on what it is, they may say like, oh, that was actually, like, if that didn't happen, like this down the road wouldn't happen. So I hesitate to say bad when it comes to things like that, because bad sounds kind of definite, whereas negative sounds like it may or it may be turned into a positive. So it sounds more like more flowy, like how things are ever changing. Like that sounds like it can be ever changing, so that you don't have to get stuck on like the bad part. Or there I go again, the negative part. Okay, let's get you guys some charms. I'm gonna start off with the runes. And some letters. And some numbers. And charms. So if you're new here, hi, welcome. I don't actually look in here as I shuffle around and get you guys some charms. I just keep shuffling until I feel like it's time to take some out. So here I go. Okay. So starting off with your rune, you guys have Lagu. So this is, there you go, put it right in the middle. So this is a rune about like water energy, so more of that feminine energy. It also represents renewal, like, yeah, like kind of like this, like the power of renewal, change, fantasies, dreams. It could be like psychic as well, but yeah, it's more, especially with you guys, I feel like it's more so like that change aspect, that renewal, or like fantasy aspect. For your letters, you have T, W, let me get this one first, K, and V. T, W, K, V. For your numbers, I think you only got one. So this is 11. And for your charms, you guys have 3 bells, so that's interesting. And you have, I'm actually going to start off with, the bells actually. So the bells represent belief. I put these bells in here because they reminded me of the bell from Polar Express. So I have different colors, and yeah, I just really love that symbolism. But the bells represent belief, and you guys got silver, red, and green. So silver represents feminine energy. Again, it's that lunar energy, the unconscious, the unknown energy. It can also represent wealth as well. The green represents wealth, prosperity, luck. It also corresponds with the heart chakra and also growth. The red corresponds with the root chakra, love, passion, fire energy. By the way, this can sometimes, like the color green, depending on how you look at it, could also represent like earth energy, because like grass, like people associate it with that. And some people think more water energy because green and, you know, the heart chakra, you know, that like feminine energy. So I actually see it as both, like the earth and the water energy. But yeah, back to this. Ooh, caught it. So it represents like that fire, passion, energy, and also the root chakra, and also love. So you guys also have this yellow car. So the car represents movement and travel, and the color yellow to me is like a more childlike color. It represents like solar energy, young energy. I feel like a lot of children's toys have the color yellow in it, so that's why I always associate it with that. But it's a very like it also corresponds with like knowledge as well, like wisdom and research. So yeah, for you guys, knowing and doing, like that combination, because this is a car, so this is about like actual travel. So like knowing and doing is really important for you guys, and it's important to keep that knowledge. Last but not least, you have the queen. So more feminine energy. The queen is a piece, is a chess piece that can go any which way. It can go forward and backwards. It can go diagonally. It can zoom across the board. It can go one space at a time. It can pretty much do what all the other pieces can do. I'm sorry, except for the knight. It can't do what the knight does. So yeah, you guys are like a part of not only why you need to feel this way, but kind of what you need to do in order to get out of it. A part of that is really to put your best foot forward and just make sure that that you're being strategic, and that you're not like leaving anything behind. You're not leaving any stone unturned. And I feel like you know what these stones are. Like, I don't think it's the kind of thing that can jump up and surprise you. You know what they are. You just kind of have to really put in that energy towards it. And also, like, going far, I feel like is important for this pile. So make sure that you like incorporate everything that you need to accomplish, and make sure that you kind of schedule it in a weird way, or that's the word, prioritize it accordingly, so that you can go further, and that you're not like stuck in this like weird limbo energy. There's a bug just flew by here. So yes, thank you so much for letting me read for you, Pile 4. Like, comment, and subscribe. I can be found on Instagram, Tumblr, TikTok, and Reddit. I also do personal readings now, and all that information will be in the description below. And I will see you guys soon in another reading. Bye.